Hello, welcome to Revenue Marketing Television. I am your host, Jeff Pedowitz, President and CEO of the Pedowitz Group. Today on the CMO Insights channel, we have Diego Lomanto, who is the first Chief Marketing Officer for Talent Incorporated. Diego, welcome to the show.
Hey Jeff, thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem. So I am very curious as to what Talent Incorporated does because everybody's looking for talent.
Yeah, it's actually, it could be deceiving by the title. We are not a talent agency. What we are is a service for job seekers in which we provide them tools and advice on helping them find the job of their dreams. Most specifically, the product that we offer is a resume writing service. So what we do is we help job seekers write their resumes in ways, help them write a better resume so that they get more interviews faster and are more, appear justifiably more qualified for the jobs that they want to get. We work with millions of job seekers a year. What we do is we offer a free evaluation of your resume. So, most people are doing their resume on their own. They're having a friend look at it. They're looking up resume samples and they're trying things, but they're not writers and they're not marketers, right? And so they do their best, but usually they're not writing their resume effectively for the jobs that they're seeking. So we look at it. We give them some feedback on, from a mechanical and an automated perspective. What are the automated filters saying about you? How are the machines interpreting your experience before it even gets to a person, right? How are you being filtered? What are the keywords that are being parsed? How are you being categorized by the automated filters? And then we have a person look at it and tell you, okay, your objective statement is strong or not, your bullets are not quantified, etc. And so that mix of sort of automation and human oversight gives people the advice and information they need to make their resume better. And so many people take that. Yeah, many people take that, do that themselves, update their resume themselves, but we offer a paid service to do it for them, and that's what our business model is and how we generate revenue.
All right. Well, as someone that's reviewed thousands and thousands of resumes and hired many people, it's definitely very valuable for sure. Yeah. So you are the first Chief Marketing Officer at Talent. Right. So what are some of the main challenges you're facing right now as you build out this team?
Yeah, I think for many early marketing hires, or at least early marketing leaders, you're inheriting, you're walking into a situation without any structure or processes or really formalized strategy, and you need to bring that to the business while also not disrupting the things that are making them successful, right? I mean, the reason that I got hired is because the company is growing fast and they're ready to put their gas on the pedal and grow through their customers through marketing spend. And so looking at, what they have, what they don't have, and figuring out a strategy to take them to more of a sophisticated and robust marketing strategy. So, talking to people inside the company, really understanding, what's the story of this business, and to the customer, what are we, what is our value to the customer? What benefits do we provide? How do we help them? Crafting that story and starting to get everyone on the same page from a brand perspective. But this is the third startup I've worked for, and very much like the other startups, is inheriting technology that was, not built with today in mind, but the past getting to today in mind. So there's a lot of tech debt. There's a lot of complex information in different systems, and integrating that and sort of unifying that in a singular platform or a single point of view of marketing is one of the things that I've been working on.
So what kind of talent are you hiring for at Talent? What kind of skills do you need to get going?
Yeah. So the first person I hired, I sort of went the right brain, left brain situation. Try to build out a robust team here. So I hired a director of marketing communications who is also a career advice expert. So Amanda Augustine, she's on our team. She's a career advice. She's known inside the career world as a job advice expert. And so we brought her on to have her be our director of marketing communications and also be the face of this business to the rest of the world. We wanted to humanize it. We wanted people to see a face and understand, hey, there are people behind this service. It's not just machines. It's not just technology. There's a person there. And so we brought her on to build the brand and start to generate awareness and a face of the company. And on the sort of the other side of the coin, I brought in digital marketing people who understand funnels, leads, conversion, optimization, paid social, paid search, and various other marketing channels. But we wanted to get both things going: build the brand, build the story, but also build out that funnel on those channels. And then third, we are a lot of our business is generated and conducted by email. And so I brought in an email marketing person, a leader in the space, someone who really knows email marketing inside out, to create a relationship-based email marketing program. And that's sort of the main hires that I've
okay, great. Undertaken. So tell me about some of the things that you're doing from a process and technology standpoint to scale.
Yeah. So when I started, there was actually one person already on the staff, Jenna. She's great. She manages mostly our social media and our community, which is important in our business. Ratings and reviews are really important for us. And so we had that in place, and she's doing a really good job. But we needed to scale up and hire more people. We're still not a huge company. I have about 10 people now. But what we did was we organized people into product marketing, marketing communications, digital marketing, and marketing operations and analytics. I have 10 people. They're spread across those. So there's 4 leaders there, and underneath them is 1 or 2 people each. And really, from a process perspective, the most challenging thing for a small company as they're growing up is going from everyone reporting directly to me when we had 2 or 3 people, 4 people, even 5, to a 10-person team. I can't manage 9 people, and they all have sub-reports. And so managing that communication across the team has become really important. So I'm trying to build that we have, technology that we use that keeps us on the same page and communicating, but doesn't inhibit the flexibility and the flow. So we have a weekly tactical meeting, a monthly strategic meeting, a quarterly goals and goal defining meeting, and then a yearly planning session. So sticking to that, each team individually has a daily sort of scrum meeting, and any special projects have a daily scrum meeting. But from there, we report into the general team.
So it sounds like you're using some agile techniques then as you're building out your team.
Yeah. It's a mix of agile and more traditional. I don't know if you've read Death by Meeting or the Rockefeller Habits, but there's some really good, I think, process advice in those books, and those are great. But also from an agile perspective, so many things are happening and so fast that we do need to keep communicating on a constant basis. So I did try to do sort of the daily scrum with everyone, and we found that there's too many different things going on that are not interrelated, and it wasn't effective to get everyone together every day. So we found that weekly is the rhythm that works for us. But on a special project, those people are meeting every day quickly and doing an agile process there.
So you mentioned email marketing. Are there other parts of your MarTech stack that you're investing in?
So email is the key one right now. We had a homegrown system that was, once again, great for getting the business off the ground. But as we wanted to become more sophisticated and expand, it wasn't sufficient. So we rolled that out. We're in the process of rolling out a more sophisticated email marketing platform, and that's really been the focus right now. From an overlay perspective, what the biggest challenge I have right now and where I want to go next is attribution. Just understanding what channels are driving the customer, along the way in the customer journey, what channels are contributing, and what's the first touch, last touch, and what are the touch points in between. So that's where we're going next with the tech stack, and we're going to make our next investments.
So speaking of attribution, what are some of the outcomes that your boss is measuring you on, and then your 10 employees, what are you holding them accountable for?
Yeah, so revenue is the first thing. Like all all CEOs and all marketing leaders, we're looking at the numbers, and I have a number to hit, and so we've broken that down into different channels, so we can track which channels are driving the number, organic to paid, as being the big categories. So we're tracking between revenue between those, but we're also tracking leads generated. We're also tracking marketing assists. We have a lot of our leads are generated by partners that we have. We partner with job boards, so if you go to a Glassdoor or a Monster and you upload your resume, they'll ask you, would you like a free evaluation from one of our partners, from our partner Top Resume? And if you say yes, then they introduce you to us and we take it from there. And so a lot of my marketing spend ended up helping to close those leads, which is, we get into the attribution model. Is it their credit? Is it my credit? So tracking that and understanding how much money are we spending to close a lead that came from somewhere else? How much can we afford to spend there? And what drives lift in partner generated leads? So we're looking at revenue. We're looking at partner assisted revenue. We're looking at the number of leads, the resumes uploaded. And then from a broader perspective, we're looking at things like social following and SEO and organic traffic that we're bringing in, and PR mentions and PR hits to see if the brand is starting to resonate.
Okay, so from a customer lifecycle perspective, is your product something that you can continue cross-selling, upselling, or is it, someone comes in for a short period of time, they buy it, and then they're hired, so they don't need it?
Yeah, so it's both of those. So the immediate need is filled, right? We get we do someone's resume. Typically within 3 months to 6 months, they get a job and they're happy and they're not going to need us again. But the average person changes jobs 12 to 14 times in their lifetime. The average person changes jobs every 4.4 years. 35 million people in the U.S. alone change jobs every year. So it is a market that people will come back to. And when we do a good job, we're seeing people come back. The company is only 4 years old. So we're actually just starting to see that repeat business. But we're very interested in maintaining a relationship with the customer beyond that first sale with, career advice beyond getting the job. How do you manage your boss? How do you manage your working with employees? How do you grow your career? How do you get a promotion? So that when they go back out into the job market, they come back to us and get a resume refresh from us.
That's great. So just curious, is this your first CMO?
It's my first CMO position. I was a VP of marketing previously, and they're relatively similar, but yes, from a CMO perspective, yeah.
Has anything surprised you with this role?
Anything surprised? That's a great question. It's still, regardless of what the title is, when you're in an early stage company, it's still very hands-on. I obviously have a team and I hand off a lot and I set the strategy and the pace, but I'm still getting in there and, helping figure out, looking at analyzing data, looking at Google Analytics, figuring out where the traffic is coming from. I don't think I'll ever hand that off. I enjoy doing it, and I think it's important to do. So I guess when I thought about my career 10 years ago, when I thought, what would a CMO, when I'm was hopefully a CMO, what would I be doing? I thought it'd be more people giving me reports and, me sitting there and signing things and, helping to drive strategy and just grow people. But there's still a lot of hands-on work involved, and I'm actually glad for that. I really enjoy that.
So what advice would you give to your fellow CMO that's just beginning their growth and transformation?
So I think the number one thing, we haven't really talked about this, but the one thing one point of advice I think I would also give is, get all your digital marketing channels, get your specialists, get your social media going, but don't forget the story of the brand. It's really important, and it's easy to focus on the numbers and the channels. But if you're not also building a story, a narrative, a position that's differentiated in the market from your competitors, all that stuff is, I won't call it busy work. It's important, obviously, but that's short-term management. You really, at the same time, need to be looking at how you're developing the brand, what story your brand is telling, and reinforcing that across the business. I walked into a company that didn't have marketing before. It was, a business development-led company. We partnered very quickly with a lot of job boards, and we grew very fast, and we didn't have a story. We were a white label for most of the time. And so, paying attention to that, talking to the founders, the CEO, understanding what the core, what is the why behind this business is really important. Don't take your eye off of that ball, because that's, you'll find yourself 2-3 years just still working, pushing a rock up a hill because you're not having people coming to you and you're not, telling the story and generating word of mouth if you're not paying attention to the brand and the story.
Great advice, great insights. Diego, we're out of time, but thank you so much for being on the show this afternoon.
My pleasure.
And we'll definitely keep in touch.
All right. Thank you for having me.
You bet.